All right, well, you know, Dirk, our next story is about drones. They're about unmanned aircraft systems.
Drones.
UASs. Apparently, your average drone prefers that you refer to it as a UAS, an unmanned aircraft system. I didn't know that. It's kind of like when Prince wanted us all to refer to him by that little symbol. Remember that?
Yeah.
That little thing?
How do you even talk about that?
I don't know. It was just called the little symbol. That Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince.
Yeah, exactly.
So the thing formerly known as a drone.
Right. Well, but
no, I'm not going to call them a drone. I'm going to call them a UAS because that's how they.
You know, we already have a comment.
It's politically
on
correct
this article
to refer to a drone or a UAS the way that the U.S. wants to be referred to. So I'm going to do that. Now, it would seem that the age of the UAS is upon us now, and it's a noisy age indeed. And that's what I gathered from Don't Call Them Drones, an op-ed from QD editorial director Taryn March that ran in yesterday's issue of the Quality Digest newsletter. And before I get to the meat of Taryn's article, let's first experience a little bit of the gentle sound of a typical drone in flight.
We've all heard them.
Listen and watch this, and you'll get what I'm saying.
Love that sound. Especially when you're at a concert. They're flying overhead. Trying to listen to Ariana Grande.
There you go. Well, now, does that, Dirk, I don't know, does that remind you of anything?
Strangely enough,
how about
it does.
How about listening to this? And we can now see it.
We've got a Piper Dune here.
There you go. It's a paper
dune. You do sound a lot alike. It's amazing.
Well, now, Dirk, I'll tell you, actually this association here makes sense because as I learned, we had our story meeting the other day, as I learned and I researched a little bit as well, we were prepping for the show, most bagpipes have at least one drone.
Yes,
That's
they
what
do.
they call it.
Yep.
It's a drone. It's a pipe that's not fingered but produces a constant harmonizing note, thank you Wikipedia, while the instrument is being played. I did not know that.
And they do sound, the drones sound a lot like the
very much
yeah,
alike. It's kind of amazing. But this story, Dirk, isn't about drones.
Finally.
It's actually about unmanned aircraft systems.
And we're only halfway through it.
That's right. And as Taryn writes, your average UAS, unmanned aircraft system, is now being employed to do some pretty amazing things, all kidding aside, including things like checking out-of-spec conditions within manufacturing. It can survey forest fires. They can prevent poaching on game preserves, predict tornadoes, find landmines, inspect rail lines, and take water samples.
A lot of agricultural work going on.
Agricultural work. I mean, so it's all in a day's work for a drone. I mean, a UAS. And as you just alluded to, Dirk, maybe the biggest use for unmanned aircraft systems today comes from agribusiness. We actually explored that briefly. Do you remember this? We talked about that.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
On a show, I think it was about 3 or 4 months ago.
Right.
We talked about this on a show, and factory farms use a typical UAS to quickly and efficiently monitor the condition of far-flung fields. They're looking for things like inefficiencies in nutrient or pesticide coverage, or they check for infestations, or they check for crop disease. Now, human workers, they just can't do those jobs as well. I mean, especially if you have a big factory farm.
Or as fast,
Or as fast. I mean, you're going to need to get down on your hands and knees, somebody, or get in a tractor and go look at this. It's not going to be very efficient.
Right.
And then there's this. I thought this was fascinating. In a project currently being undertaken at Japan's National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology, engineers are studying bees and the principles of cross-pollination to create a UAS that can transport pollen from flower to flower. How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe colony collapse disorder won't cripple agriculture around the world after all. Remember that? We were talking about that. I don't know if it's still an issue, but
a little tiny drones.
That's right. People were saying, do you know what it would be like if we had to do that job that bees do manually? Well, maybe drones, UASs can actually do that. You know, who knows? Well, of course, there's also retail uses of the technology. I mean, unmanned aircraft systems are being tested by Domino's Pizza, 7-Eleven stores, and perhaps most famously of all by Amazon. And soon there's little doubt various companies of all shapes and sizes will be zipping UASs all over the place, probably rather noisily. And because this is a quality story, there are regulatory and certification angles to consider here as well. Last year, the FAA published its final ruling on this technology titled Operation and Certification of Small Unmanned Aircraft Systems. The major provisions are that a UAS must weigh less than 55 pounds, must always remain in the pilot's line of sight, must not fly above 400 feet, and most importantly of all, and perhaps this is the most challenging for the perspective of the mass use, the pilot must be certified. And that could put the kibosh on its use, at least maybe it's legal use.
Legal use.
For small agribusinesses for existence.
Sure.
Not to mention that a fully equipped system can cost 25 grand. If you want to have a system that actually can do a lot of the stuff we just talked about earlier, checking your crops.
Yeah, those are high-end systems.
They're high-end systems. That can be 25 grand.
Less than they used to be, though.
Yeah, coming down, but still, I mean, for a small agribusiness, it may not be that feasible. Well, ISO has jumped in on this as well. Earlier this year, I think it was the same time we were talking about the agribusiness, we reported in the QD newsletter on the show about the development of ISO 21384. That's a standard covering the use of unmanned aircraft systems. So, I mean, clearly there's a lot going on here within the industry, and Taryn's article did a really nice job exploring all the angles. I mean, after all, a drone by any other name would fly just as sweet, would sound just as bad.
Yes.
UAS, drone. Sounds weird.
Sounds weird.
Sounds worse. You know, but
these things are really crazy, though. I mean, I'm
amazing.
seeing, and they're getting. I mean, even the low-cost drones right now, and you can get a decent drone for. I mean, really a decent drone for $500.
Right.
And they've got a camera, a high-definition camera. Even some of them 4K cameras built in. They're perfectly stable. It's nuts. And yeah, nobody has, like hardly anybody has a license for them.
You know, it's funny, I didn't choose this clip, but Taryn had like a 2-minute clip from Amazon in the UK.
Yeah.
And they had this really funny, did you see the clip on that one? Anyway, check out
delivering the pizza?
Delivering the shoes. Remember the
shoes,
the girl got her shoe chewed up by the,
no.
bulldog? But anyway, it was really cute. But it's amazing. I mean, you know, the pick and pack operation, it's all going to be automated. I mean, it already is.
Most of it is,
So an automated pick and pack loads a product into a drone. The drone gets programmed for the location. The thing goes up to 400 feet, goes out to its place, lands on a landing field, drops the package, and takes off.
And the dog comes
in 30 minutes. Beats that one too. But you know, it's really. I mean, the retail experiences as we know it are really going away. I mean, I think this industry is the next one to really be totally transformed by technology. It already has been. But I mean, you know, the idea that you could not even have to, you know, even wait for UPS.
Right.
The idea you don't have to go to a store anymore. I mean, the idea that if you do go to a store, you're not even have to check out. You're just going to be able to scan it and put it in your thing and just leave.
I'm reading a book. Got a second. I'm reading a book right now by James Patterson called The Store, which is kind of Amazon. And one of the little things that's kind of a side on this is that we're collecting so much data.
Yeah.
We're getting to the point where the store knows what you want based on your previous buy. So in this book, some of the things that happen is you're getting groceries without ordering them, and it's exactly the food that you want, and you'd love it, and you eat it. It's perfect food, and it comes right when you need it, and there's never anything there you don't want, so you don't even have to think about what you want.
Yeah.
Is that really what we want? That's kind of if you like James Patterson's science fiction-y stuff, this one is okay, but it's interesting just because really it's almost here.
It's almost
really,
here is right,
really
and
crazy.
it's also pretty scary. But if you think about that, that is really the way it's going, is to gather the data and be able to serve customers
and give them what they want before they know what they want.
And is that a good thing?
Yeah, and is that a good thing? Yeah, it kind of takes the thinking out of thinking.
No.
All right.